This is Adam Martin with your Western District Fishing Report. Here at Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley, water temps are down to about 65 right now, and we should see a major drop this week in response to some nights in the 20s. Water levels remain at Winter Pool, and with almost no rain, the water color remains clear and the current remains very low. We still haven't seen many shallow crappie, although I expect that to change pretty quickly this week as the temperatures drop. Most crappie anglers have been targeting deeper water in the 10 to 15 foot range. But some of the shallow cover is already holding a few fish based on our electrofishing surveys. Now, bass fishing has been a bit slow for most anglers, but we have been seeing some schooling action in the shallows as they key in on those abundant bait fish. During our electrofishing surveys, we've been seeing them tight on the laydowns and docks, to the point where we expect to see a bass on every laydown and the deeper side of every dock. Secondary points are also holding bass, although they tend to be smaller than what we see on other types of structure. As I mentioned in my last report, white bass and yellow bass are also moving shallower now, so you can expect to catch quite a few even if you were targeting other species. With temps dropping and low lake levels, be sure to watch that depth finder and always wear your life jackets and kill switches. Good luck.
This is Jeremy Shiflett with a fishing update from the Northwestern Fisheries District. Rough River Lake is 2 feet below Winter Pool and dropping. The plan is to reach Winter Pool or 470 by December 1st. Be cautious on the water and wear your life jacket as water levels drop. Fishing has been slow and will continue to be hit and miss during this drawdown. A few bass have been caught on jigs and crankbaits 6 to 15 feet deep. Lots of small bass are hugging the shoreline with a few over 15 mixed in. Crappie and bass are both holding on brush anywhere from 5 to 20 feet deep. Hybrid striped bass will be moving down out of the creeks to the creek mouths and down from the upper river as the water level drops. Nolin River Lake is 1.5 feet below Summer Pool and will be dropping out to Winter Pool over the next 6 weeks. Again, fishing has been slow with changing weather and water conditions and the strong winds we've had of late. Crappie were being caught 15 to 20 feet deep on structure prior to the drawdown. Look for those fish to move out of the backs of the creeks to the main lake brush and deeper standing timber. Good numbers of bass are in 4 to 12 feet of water, especially on banks with large chunk rock. Jigs, plastics, and crayfish imitations are working fairly well. Lake Malone is about 8 inches below pool. Bass are being caught on spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, wacky rigs, and shaky heads along rocky banks and the edges of the water willow. A few have also been caught on top water early in the morning. Channel catfish are being caught on limb lines, but remember to tag your limb lines with your customer number and check your gear every 24 hours to stay legal. Bass fishing has been fair at the smaller state lakes. Target woody structure in 3 to 8 feet of water with soft plastic spinnerbaits and crankbaits that imitate shad or crayfish. Trout were stocked last week in Otter Creek on the ORA and on Fort Knox. Remember that October 1st through March 31st is catch and release only with artificial baits only on the whole ORA and all of Fort Knox except for the stretch 200 yards below Camp Carlson up through 300 yards above the pump house. Trout were also stocked this week in Owensboro, Madisonville, and Bevel Park, Finns Lakes, and in Sandy Watkins Park. White or gold inline spinners, minnow spins, or live bait under a float will catch them. Be mindful of the weather and water conditions this time of year. Good luck and stay safe.
This is Tom with your fishing report from the Northeast. Cave Run Lake is sitting just below summer pool elevations, and I've seen a lot of musky boats out and about on the lake for the last several weeks. Have had reports of anglers fishing topwater near weed edges. We've had crews out on the lake the last several weeks, and bass are holding tighter to woody structure, not necessarily brushy structure, but stumps and stick-ups in medium depths. If you're looking for bass on Grayson, focus on the Bruin area of the lake. White spinners and crankbaits are the go-to here for bass. Also on Grayson, during some sampling, we saw some nicer crappie holding tight to brush in the upper reaches of the lake. Grayson is a few feet below Summer Pool, so these upper reaches are shallow. If you head up there, make sure you watch your depth. We've been able to pull off a few trout stockings over the last few weeks. Rainbows were stocked in Chimney Top, East Fork Indian, Middle Fork Red River, and Swift Camp Creeks. Obviously, these fish are sitting in some of the many deeper pools of cooler water. Indian and Middle Fork Red both received the larger size rainbows, so there's some nice ones out there for anglers to catch. We also stocked Craney Creek in Round County last week. This is an excellent, very underutilized fishing opportunity for anglers to get out and enjoy a beautiful hike and catch some fish on the Daniel Boone Forest. Lastly, we also stocked Parchcorn Creek with the ever elusive brook trout, so there's good opportunity for a rare fish in a small stream setting. Lots of low water conditions out there, out and about, especially on our streams. Remember to call ahead if you're launching a boat. Make sure you have access. And if you do get on the water, remember things are significantly different at that lower water condition, so be safe. And as always, good luck.
This is Caleb Bentley with the Kentucky Stocking Report. This week, across the state, we stocked rainbow trout. Rainbow trout were stocked in Trammell Creek, Jennings Creek, Casey Creek, Sulphur Springs, Lake Cumberland Tailwaters, Upper and Lower Sportsman's Lake, Boone Chat 6 Acre Lake, Cave Run Lake Tailwaters, Eagle Lake, Little Sandy East Fork, Wayman Morris Park Lake, Panther Creek Park Lake, Yellow Creek Park Lake, Madisonville City Park Lake, Sandy Watkins Park Lake, James D. Beeville Park Lake, Lake Mingo, Southland Church Lake, Whitehall Park Lake, Beaver Creek, Elk Springs, Wood Creek Lake, Mill Creek Lake, Lake Montgomery, Mike Miller Park Lake, Kess Creek Lake, Rotary Park Lake, Waverly Park Lake, Tom Wallace Park Lake, Miles Park Lakes, Green Heron, and Anglers Lake. Good luck fishing and stay safe.